way to the Windy City's heart? Keep it simple. Chicago doesn't try to impress anyone. A walk along the lake and a slice of the deep stuff loaded with loyalty and love and a sense of humor on the side. You'll find all of that at Wrigley, where the bleacher bums flock, hoping that summer extends to fall. True, the scars of the past are burned into their hearts. But 108 years of misery proves loyalty.
Cubs win! Cubs win!
On baseball tonight, 1 hour pregame show leading up to Dodgers and Cubs, and what a difference 24 hours makes. No rain in the forecast, blue skies, and give it up for that guy. His first game gets to see the Cubs and the Dodgers. Corey Seager, 27 RBIs this season. He's been outstanding for Los Angeles, and of course, Chris Bryant leading a host of would-be all-stars at this point for the Chicago Cubs, still with Major League's best baseball record. Welcome inside our studio, Tim Kirkshin and John Kruk. Just quickly, you imagine what that kid's image is right now, having seen that field first time. We all remember the first time you walk into a Major League field, right? We remember that.
I remember the first time walking in Wrigley. It was impressive. And to be that, I did it when I was 26. This kid's doing it at what, 8, 6, 7? Yeah, it's an impressive place.
1982, George Wright of the Rangers got 3 hits on opening day. And I said to him, "Did you have a good time today?" And he said, "Yeah, I've never been to a Major League game before." So the first game he'd ever been to, he got
had 3 hits.
How about that?
What a thing. Meantime, good game coming up here tonight. We don't have Kershaw. We don't have Arrieta. This is the first time in a long time the Cubs play a game coming off a game in which Arrieta started and they didn't win. So, will Corey Seager and the rest of the Dodgers stay hot? Got an outstanding performance last night from Scott Kazmir. Mike Bolsinger, the pitcher, is the guy that's charged with keeping down this Cub lineup tonight. We'll hear from Rick Sutcliffe in just a moment on the Cubs side of things. But that guy right there, Corey Seager, who went yard last night, has really been somebody who, as young as he is, and given the Puig struggles, has really helped carry this team so far.
He has been great. And when he came up last year, it took about 2 weeks before he became basically the second best hitter on their team after Adrian Gonzalez. He hit some left-handers down the stretch last year, and you looked at him like, wow. But let's face it, if they're going to make the playoffs, not only do they have to add a pitcher, they're going to have to add another hitter, because as good as that kid is, look at that lineup for tonight. That's still a good bat short if they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, when the Dodgers thought so much of him last year in the postseason. He hit third, and he's hitting third tonight against a tough lefty in John Lester. So, I mean, it just tells you, how far he has come in so short a time as a big league hitter.
One thing we know about Seager, if you've seen him, he's got a brother who's a billionaire because he plays really well for Seattle. This guy, they're physically huge guys. You stand next to Seager, you watch him take batting practice as we did. I mean, he's a big guy. And that's a big deal for that team.
Yeah, and they say he's too big to be a shortstop. Eventually, he's going to have I don't go with that. Cal Ripken did pretty well at the shortstop position, and Alex Rodriguez, before they moved him to third, did pretty well as a big shortstop. I think you leave him there if where he's comfortable. Let him just all you worry about is hitting. Let him hit.
All right. Meantime, that Cub lineup, which last night put a lot of zeros on the board, thanks to Scott Kazmir, who ultimately hit him. I mean, the thing about Arrieta's losses, his last 2 were a no-hitter against the team and a 1-hitter against the team. There's a lot of swing and miss in this lineup. We saw that last night, and it wasn't Kershaw on the mound.
Right. Well, we can't forget they struck out last year, 3rd most times in Major League history, and there are going to be those nights where you can really pitch to this lineup, no matter how formidable it might be. And tonight, it's still a very good lineup out there. They can pound away if you miss location.
Cub fans are lining up to get to the ballpark, which means they got a chance online to vote for All-Stars. They're into their Cubs. You could have Rizzo. You could have Bryant. You could certainly have Zobrist be the starting 3/4 of that infield. And I know Russell's a really good player, but Zobrist hitting 345. He's a 270 hitter.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think it's a comfort thing, and I think the fact that, as a hitter, like I hit third in the lineup most of my career. I know when I got moved around, it was like, okay, where am I here? What do I do as a 2-hitter? What do I do as a leadoff hitter? he moves everywhere, and that's the thing that makes him so good. We talk about the defensive versatility, the offensive versatility, the fact that he's a switch hitter, so he's going to protect Rizzo tonight in the lineup if they bring in a left-handed pitcher, out of the bullpen to face him. He protects Rizzo that way, and the thing is now, 8 home runs already this year too. Last year he hit 16, I believe. So he's on his way to a 20, 25 homer season, and he adds that to his game at this stage in his career. Pretty impressive.
That versatility is so important for Joe Madden teams. He loved those movable parts. He's got Chris Bryant, who can play the outfield and the infield, and he's got Javi Baez, who's at third tonight. He's played shortstop, he's played second, and when Joe has those pieces, he's a happy manager.
And he had him in Tampa, and even when Tampa wasn't playing well, there was this love affair with Zobrist, and we'd done this for a long time, and you'd look at him, and nothing about him stood out, except that he did everything really well. This year, the numbers are just off the charts, and this is on a lineup where you expect other guys to have huge numbers. His compare with just about everybody's.
And this is the point with him. Remember when he came up as a switch-hitting shortstop who wasn't much of a hitter, and now he's transformed himself into not just an everyday player, but a really good hitter and a guy that can play multiple positions. I'm telling you, we haven't seen too many guys with a career path quite like Ben Zobrist. And here he's 35. He's probably a better hitter now than he's ever been.
Rick Sutcliffe joins us now. So we'll get to the pitching in Lester in just a second, but you were there all spring with the Chicago Cubs, and you talked yesterday during the game about Fowler, who decided, I want to go back and play for the Cubs. Zobrist had other options. Can you kind of tell us what the feeling is amongst the players who decided to, in a sense, take less to be a part of whatever this is going to be?
You know what, Ravi, I think it was a couple of things. One, for Dexter Fowler, I think it had a lot to do with the players. He was really comfortable with his teammates. He knew it was an opportunity for him to win. And I think he really felt like with what he did the second half of the season, being kind of the catalyst for that ball club, they had the cliche that, we go as you go. He felt like he could put up even better numbers than he did last year and possibly get a bigger contract than what he walked away from. On the other hand, when you're talking about Ben Zobrist, you're talking about Joe Madden. He wanted to come back and play for the skipper that brought him to the big leagues, and the skipper that brought him to the big leagues told him when he comes here, you're going to play one position. And I think playing second base, that normal, knowing every day what's going on, where you're going to be, like Crucky was talking about, I think that has a lot to do with this unbelievable success that he's having.
Interesting, because he thrived in a role in which he was bouncing all over the place as well. The sense of empowerment that Madden gives to his players. John Lester was there, then Arrieta starts to become the ace of that staff. Tell us about where Lester is in his career with this team and what they need from him.
Great question, Carl. To me, John Lester is still a true #1 pitcher. I think back to years ago when Hall of Famer Don Drysdale was talking to me about what it takes to be a #1. You have to have a difference between your wins and your losses. For your team to get into the playoffs, you've got to be over 500. It's got to start with your #1 guy. In his career, he's 50 games over 500. The other thing is you need a lot of innings. And this is a guy that this looks to be the 9th straight year with over 30 starts, over 190 innings. You get those innings out of that #1 guy, you save your bullpen. So even though Jake Arrieta is the #1 pitcher doing things that really nobody else is doing right now, John Lester, to me, is still a true #1.
And lastly, you and Boog spent some quality time together in the booth last night. Given that you're the de facto mayor of Chicago, was there any after get-together for you and Boog?
You know what there was? It actually ended up back at the hotel. We love our crew. I mean, this Wednesday night crew is as much fun as any that I've ever been around. Everybody came back to the hotel. The cameraman, everybody in the truck. Just a great, great time. Love the team that I'm on right now, Carl.
Oh, boy. Well, we enjoy having you, Rick, and we'll look forward to the game coming up. Thanks very much. That's Rick Sutcliffe. He and Boog Sciambi. That was the G-rated version of last night. I think we can all understand that. And the Wednesday night baseball game will start at 8 o'clock Eastern time. It is the Dodgers and the Cubs. You'll get updates from the Baseball Tonight clubhouse all night. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern time with the Baseball Tonight coming up at midnight as well. Serious news for Major League Baseball. Marlon Byrd has tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs for a second time. And with that comes a 162-game suspension. As Marlon Byrd stated, he said, I have accepted the one-year suspension by Major League Baseball. There will be no appeal here. And he fell back on the same sword in which he fell back on the first time he was caught, which in a sense says, I've accepted this suspension. I alone am responsible for what I put in my body, and therefore I've decided to forego my right to an appeal in this matter and accept the suspension. I apologize for any harm this has caused the Cleveland Indians fans, my teammates, and most importantly, my family. And Crocky, we'll start with you on this. This is a guy who, in 2012, basically said, I've been consulting with the professional who told me what I can take, and I must have taken something that wasn't on the list. He said the exact same thing again, consulted with the professional. I understand that I was putting myself at risk because it was not approved by Major League Baseball, and any supplement that anybody takes, you are very wise, obviously, to make sure it's approved by Major League Baseball.
And that's what he told me this afternoon. He took something that was probably tainted, that wasn't, that he didn't check. And that's the thing that bothers me, is that he's old enough to know. He's been through this once. You got to check everything. It's disappointing. You want to say, well, he's at the end of his career. Maybe he wanted one more paycheck, and well, let's try to see if we can get around. I hope that wasn't the reason. I just hope it was a bad mistake that he made and he got caught, and he just says, you know what, I'm done. I'm to take it and go. But as a person who coached him in the minor leagues and have known him since 2001, it's very disappointing to hear this news when I came in today.
Yeah, it's very frustrating, and the excuses seem to fall on deaf ears. I think it's important for people at home to know these lists exist that Major League Baseball has of approved supplements. And if you want to try one that's not approved, you send it to Major League Baseball, and they will test it for you. And if it clears, they'll send it back and say, good to go.
And that's what he told me. He said that he knew that once he took this, he thought, oh boy, I could get suspended, I could get busted. But okay, well, if you knew that,
that's foolish.
Send it to Major League Baseball, whoever, and get it tested.
Major League Baseball doesn't want this to happen. This is bad for the game. It's disappointing for the game. But at least it shows that the testing is working. And you just have to ask yourself again, how can you get caught twice when you're doing this? It just doesn't make any sense. And this is probably, even though he's got one more strike to go, you have to think at his age, we probably won't see him in the big leagues again.
The other part of this story, which is sort of not reported very often, is there are a handful of guys who have been suspended and caught once. Then they make a lot of money. And Marlon Byrd falls under the umbrella of guys that were caught once, made a lot of money since that first one, upwards of, what, $16, almost $17 million. He's probably on the low end of the spectrum of guys that got caught. And you can think of Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, he was all one-year deals though, and Johnny Peralta got a multi-year deal. Melky Cabrera, Bartolo's made a lot of money, like you said. Nelson Cruz has made a lot of money afterwards. From what I understand of talking to players about the amount of times that they get tested, Major League Baseball, it's not a witch hunt. They're not going after guys. They just want to make sure that if someone is taking it, they're testing everyone to get it. So you have to understand that coming in. Like, okay, they're going to test me. I know that. I can't get away with this anymore. Some guys might, figure out a way to sneak through the cracks, but the majority of guys who are still taking stuff, they're going to get caught eventually, so just stop.
Hey, Carl, I told you, an American League manager told me that one of his players was running off the field at the end of a game, and the second he hit the dugout, he was grabbed by a tester and said, you're coming with me. Before he could go to the clubhouse or do anything else, you're being tested right now. That just shows how serious Major League Baseball is about this, that if you do this, we're going to catch you.
Again, Marlon Byrd, a 162-game suspension. He told John his career is likely over as a result of this. Our show just getting started, and because it's 7, we got games underway. Mookie Betts, 3 homers last night.
No.
This is tonight. He leads off the game with another home run.
Carl, he's on a pace for over 200 hits and over 80 extra base hits, and he does it again.
But the thing is, he's so hot right now, but what do? You pitch around him, he steals a base. Then you get to the rest of that middle of the lineup.
What a start. Tim already researching back-to-back 3 home run games.
By a leadoff guy. Not done very often, Sarah. Let's get on that.
Felix Hernandez, 15 ADL. The King with a calf strain and had a rough outing in his last start.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the numbers there, you know, what Felix does and what the rest of their rotation does, and, you know, they're starting to gel. The offense is really picking up. Now they're going to have to pick it up a little bit more. Whoever takes Felix's place in the rotation until he gets off the disabled list, it's putting a lot more pressure now on the offense, knowing that guy's not going to go out every fifth
And
day.
they have 2 series against the Rangers in the next 2 weeks, and he's not going to pitch in either one of those because of this. Their bullpen is great and has been all year. It's going to get tested even more now with him out.
Be careful of the Rangers. They're playing right now. We'll get you an update on that game a little later on. Cole Hamels on the mound against the Indians. You think he's popular? Clayton Kershaw signing autographs. This is Wrigley Field. This isn't Dodger Stadium. And he's not pitching, but he's out there satisfying the hungry Dodger Kershaw fans. Who says Cub fans aren't in love with baseball? They like baseball, not just the Cubs.
So he takes the mound.
They won't like him then. But tonight they love him. That game comes up at the top of the hour. We have more baseball tonight coming up in just a minute.
A bacon mozzarella burger sounds delicious enough, but Wendy's spin on it is an experience.
This is the Bacon Mott's experience.
With Wendy's signature thick-cut oven-baked bacon, juicy, never-frozen beef you can't just get from some other guys, melty mozzarella, and a garlic Parmesan sauce, it's a can't-miss collaboration. Because Wendy's Bacon Mozzarella Burger doesn't just sound delicious, it's deliciously different. And now kids' meals are just $1.99 after 4.
Oh, you lifted your head up. Wow. You got to keep your head down, man.
That's right. Keep your head down. And then go straight to the real experts who can actually help your game with the latest gear at Golfsmith.
Ace is a place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I got bare spots in my yard.
Ace is a place with the cure for lawn pattern baldness.
It's going to grow back nice and thick. Print out our online coupon and save 25% on one regular priced item under $50.
Some people know how to make an entrance. To thrive under pressure. To reject the status quo. And they have no problem passing the competition. The aggressive Lexus GS 350 and 200 Turbo. Once driven, there's no going back.
The sun will come out tomorrow. For people with heart failure, tomorrow is not a given. But Entresto is a medicine that helps make more tomorrows possible.
Tomorrow, tomorrow.
I love you. Tomorrow.
In the largest heart failure study ever, Entresto helped more people stay alive and out of the hospital than a leading heart failure medicine. Women who are pregnant must not take Entresto. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren. If you've had angioedema while taking an ACE or ARB medicine, don't take Entresto. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high potassium in your blood.
Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow.
Ask your heart doctor about Entresto and help make tomorrow possible.
You're only a day away.
We're back, and Baseball Tonight is brought to you by Wendy's as they clean off the dish at Wrigley Field, getting set for Dodgers-Cubs.
My favorite part of pregame.
Cleaning that plate?
Watching the grounds crew do the field. I think it's awesome.
Daniel Murphy's stepping in, and lefty on lefty. Oh!
Hey.
He didn't like that. Hey, he crowds the plate.
Exactly. You know what? If you're going to crowd the plate, you're going to get hit.
Royal Scout told me before the World Series, you have to bust him in every time because he will kill you middle away.
He's only hitting .397.
But you stand on top of the plate, you're going to get hit.
All right, so that game is happening right now. Meantime, this is yesterday's action. Big game, James. Again, big numbers against Seattle. And as a result, of this and really the entire season. The owner of the Padres is PO'd.
Well, it's been embarrassing. I don't know how else to put it. I think our performance on the road trip, 1-7, is pathetic. I'm a very competitive individual. I think I've won a lot more than I've lost in my life. This baseball experience has been very frustrating, very embarrassing. To have a starter like Shields perform as poorly as he did yesterday, I think is an embarrassment to the team, an embarrassment to him, and in a normal environment, if you had performed as well as we have over the last 3 years, you'd probably be unemployed. But it's baseball with guaranteed contracts, and we've got to get beyond it.
Well, he echoes the sentiments of a lot of people, especially ownership, when there is such a crapshoot mentality to how putting teams together work. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, sometimes you don't expect it to, and it does. For Shields, he came out and said, obviously, I was the guy that tipped it over the edge for him. I don't like losing either. And he says, as far as it being an embarrassment to me, I'm not embarrassed by it. 2-7, 4.28 ERA, $21 million. And look, he could run off 7 wins in a row, but you understand what the owner is saying.
Yeah, and the way it made it sound to me, it didn't sound like it was the 1-7 road trip. It made it sound like the last couple years, how poorly they performed, especially a couple years ago, when A.J. Preller made all the moves in the offseason, and the Padres are going to win the division. They're going to get in the postseason. They're going to win the World Series or get into the World Series, and it didn't happen. Then they get rid of a bunch of people. And so, there's no stability on the roster. Every year there's different players coming in, young guys, older guys. Yeah, at some point they have to fix something there that says, you know what, we're going to go with either really young or we're going to go really old and try to win in 1 year. They've done it the wrong way.
He used the word embarrassed 3 times and pathetic once. This is the owner of the team. And this may be the impetus for them to say, all right, we have to do what Crucky's saying, go completely young and trade James Shields, whether you get return or not. They're going to need to trade Matt Kemp to move on from that. Maybe they trade Will Myers. Someone might be able to use him. But at some point, you have to say, things aren't working very well. And when you're down 16-0 in the 4th inning and you need 2 position players to finish a game as they did yesterday, that can throw a lot of people over the edge.
Frustration, clearly, for them is you got the Giants in your division who seem to win every other year. You have the Dodgers who have a lot of money and aren't spending it, and they tend to be competitive. In San Diego's case, you could also look at the owner and say, well, we're not investing the way we should be investing. We're not spending the way we should be spending. And I get that there's a chain of command. This is the general manager. This is the president's job to put the players on the field. But I guarantee there are Padre fans who are saying, wait a minute, we're not spending the money the other teams are spending.
Well, and that's where they are.
That's why they're where they are.
Yep.
Cub fans, look, they broke it all down. They got really young for a while. And look at how young they are. There's a bunch of kids in the stands there waiting for a game to start as they get set to deal with the Dodgers. We've talked a little bit about the offense. We've talked about the pitching with Lester tonight. And how about their defense? What don't they do well?
I told you, Carl, this time last year we had a game with Joe Madden, and he was really upset with the way they played defense. And he said, this has to change. And before long, Addison Russell was the shortstop, Castro was at second, and they're a demonstrably better defensive team right now than they were a year ago.
All right, Doug Glanville joins us from Wrigley, of course, a place he once roamed. Doug, you ready to blow it up for us?
Let's do it.
There you go. That's my man. Let's talk about this emphasis on defense and why Joe Madden was so, as Tim pointed out, upset last year.
Well, they were struggling in terms of executing basically basic plays, finishing plays. And now you talk about defensive runs saved. It's a lot to do with their adjustments in positioning, putting players in the right place at the right time. And nobody speaks to that story more than Dexter Fowler, who finally they made adjustments to move him a little bit deeper on plays that used to burn him last year over his head. And that's true all across the board. And you have guys like Baez who are very skilled, who can come off the bench and come in and give you a boost defensively. So they've executed. Ben Zobrist, mechanically and sound. I talked to Joe Madden before the game. He's like, Zobrist does everything so soundly. His footwork, everything is precise. That has set the tone all through their defense.
Hi, Doug. So is this analytics? Is this logic? Is this money? Is it all of the above because they outspent everybody for Hayward? Zobrist wanted to follow Madden. The Orioles wanted Fowler just as badly as the Cubs did. What role does the analytics play in all this?
It's a huge role, and Joe Madden spoke about it, the stats guys he talks in. And Jason Hayward, look, the guy's the best right fielder in the last few years, always in the top 5 defensive run save. But what's key with these guys is they take away critical plays. It's not just basic plays. These guys take away plays that are crucial in situations, whether it's extra base hits, it's robbing home runs, when you talk about the outfield. So with Hayward and Fowler, for example, they're playing deep and they're taking away the big plays and the big innings, therefore. And that's true across the board. The analytics has provided them a framework to being in the right position. And that's where it's coming out, where they're now taking away plays that could lead to a lot of runs being scored.
All right, and please tell me tonight that it's 75 degrees. You're not actually going to be in the booth. You're going to be out in the field for the game, right?
Absolutely. Since I've been in the snow, rain, and ice cold,
right.
I think I
you deserve a day
sun.
in the sun. All right,
yes.
That's Doug Glanville. Thanks very much. Doug, part of the telecast with Jon Sciambi and Rick Sutcliffe. All right, so standings going into today. It's June 1st. These are the teams that were leading their respective divisions. The Red Sox by 3, the Royals in the Central by 2, Texas by just a half game over Seattle in the West. The National League, it's the Nationals by 2 over the Mets. The Cubs running away with it. The Giants comfortable 4.5 in the NOS. So almost 60% of the time, it's really 58, but almost 60 teams that are in first place June 1 get into the playoffs. We gave you 6 there. You pretty comfortable with all 6 of them, given the wild cards and even finishing second, are going to get in?
Yes.
All 6 of those? Yeah, I could make
I'm
that
6
argument.
for 6. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think so.
All 6 of those teams, I would make the betting favorite to win their division this year.
What about those teams leads you to believe? Is it just the talent? Is there pitching? Is it money? Why no fade?
They have great pitching, and they play great defense. And, you know, you look at the Giants especially, you know, they struggled pitching last year. They went out and got Cueto, Zamarja. Their pitching has gotten significantly better. And, you know, they got Hunter Pence healthy, which is a great impact on their offense, but yeah, they pitch it, they catch it, and they hit it.
And the Red Sox
what
are
else
in
is there?
Different category. They just outslug you. They've scored 52 more runs than any team in the American League coming into tonight. They lead the league in doubles by a mile. They have almost twice as many doubles as the Yankees have. So the Red Sox are where they are because they bludgeon you every night.
Yeah.
If they add a pitcher, they're going to win the division.
All right, so clearly there are fans of other teams wondering, well, what about the wild card, like American League? Where do you go? Right now, you go Baltimore, Seattle? Where do you go?
I would go Baltimore right now, just because I think, you know, their pitching's better than what everyone thought it was going to be. And they're going to go through offensive struggles, so they strike out a lot. But when they're hot and they can get on a roll, they're one of the few teams I think can run off like 5 or 6 in a row just with their offense.
Cleveland?
I like Baltimore also, and I still am going to stay with Houston, assuming Dallas Keuchel gets hot here and they start to pitch a whole lot better. But that American League is different than the National League. You can find really good wild card teams all over the National League. Not the same in the American League.
The thing that bothers me with Houston, they have to go out and get another bat. I think the 5 through 8's a little shaky right now.
All right, and obviously the National League, you got the Dodgers out there, you got the Mets out there. The Mets were playing today, and today you saw a reason why maybe you're kind of not on the Met bandwagon. They got good pitching, and they got really good pitching, but they're not scoring at all. They're really banged up. And Jacob deGrom was great. 1-zip into the 7th. When Todd Frazier does what he did yesterday, Saladino hurt him yesterday. Frazier goes yard again.
So their third baseman had 13 homers last year. He's got 17 now.
He got through the inning.
It's good.
It's really good. So it's 1-1 in the 7th, 8th inning now. And a ground ball with men on first and second. Boy, the Mets walked 100 times, and they could not come up with the big hit.
They walked 13 times today and lost the game. That's hard to do.
Kelly hit into a couple double plays.
They're actually only scoring 1 run.
Yeah, their depth, or lack of it, showed big time today. They're pitching Bastardo with men on first and second, got through it, and Adam Eaton taking it out on a bat.
Well, this is frustrating for the last 9 games.
Obviously, that bat doesn't work. Obviously.
When in doubt,
throw the helmet, too. The helmet doesn't work either. Wow.
Abreu's struggling.
Well, and you know, it's fastball struggle, which he usually just crushes.
11th inning, the Grandy man, straightaway center field with a chance to win it, but it gets caught up in the wind. And this is a team that's without David Wright, who isn't on the DL, but they're down a man. There's no Duda. There's no Darno.
But the White Sox have
Matt Albers. Ravi, this is his first plate appearance since 2009. And he hits a double, the first exit base hit of his career.
The first 3 pitches. Watch you slide,
Easy,
though.
easy.
Whoa, baby. Whoa, big fella. Whoa. The
Matt Albers, the pitcher.
First 3 pitches, the pitches of the at-bat, he didn't move. And I'm thinking, oh, he's just going to strike out and go back and pitch.
He's moving now.
He's moving it now. Well, here's what kills you, too. You got a guy at the plate struggling, you got a runner on second.
Who can't move.
And you wild pitch him to third.
Ansel Robles came in to pitch, threw to a 1-batter and got hurt. Looks like he's going to be okay, but he had to come out. So they brought Logan Verrett in. He threw, and this was, look at Albers.
Tell you what, the big man can run. The big man can move it.
So he scores the first run of his career, and he becomes the first American League reliever since Danny Baez to get a win in relief here and score the game-winning run.
Where do you have time to look up all that mess?
Well, again, you made it perfectly clear last night. I'm a strange little man. I like to look that stuff up.
And we like having a strange little man on this set. Conforto, strange day, 0 for 6, 4 strikeouts. Yikes. Johnny Lester warming up as he gets set to pitch tonight for the Chicago Cubs. Follow live baseball with MLB.com, at-bat app. Stay up to the moment, any moment with game day, video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download it, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet.
Let's talk turkey. New premium carved turkey at Subway. It's oven roasted just right. Sliced thick, tender, juicy, just the way you like it. And it tastes even better with fresh veggies and Applewood smoked bacon. Our new carved turkey and bacon sandwich. Subway. Fresh is what we do.
Have a garden? Then you know. Weeds are low-down little scoundrels. Draw the line with Roundup. The Sure Shot wand extends with a protective shield to target weeds precisely and kill them right down to the root. Draw the line with the Roundup Sure Shot wand.
Innovative Sonicare technology with up to 27% more brush movements versus Oral-B. Get healthier gums in 2 weeks guaranteed. Innovation in you. Philips Sonicare. Save when you buy the most loved rechargeable toothbrush brand in America.
What a lovely home you have. Is this your family?
Yeah, that's my daughter, my son, and that's
hey, my man.
Husband.
Hey, at least you got your homeowner's insurance through Progressive. By bundling it with your car insurance, you saved a ton.
Yeah. Do you want to see the rest of the house?
I can actually see a lot of it.
The call just came in. She's about to arrive. And with her, a flood of potential patients. A deluge of digital records, x-rays, MRIs, all on account of Penelope. But with the help of AT&T and a network that scales up and down on demand, this hospital can be ready, giving them the agility to be flexible and reliable. Because no one knows and like AT&T.
Take on the unexpected with a car that could stop for you. Nissan Safety Shield Technologies, available in the Altima, Sentra, and Maxima.
Let's talk turkey. New premium carved turkey at Subway. It's oven roasted just right. Sliced thick, tender, juicy, just the way you like it. And it tastes even better with fresh veggies and Applewood smoked bacon. Our new carved turkey and bacon sandwich. Subway. Fresh is what we do.
The rematch we've all been waiting for. The king on a quest. The champs looking for the repeat. Either way, it's about to get historic. The NBA Finals, it's on. Cavs, Warriors, tomorrow at 9 on ABC.
Prepare for war. Great battles will be fought, and legends will be made. Forge a mighty clan. Join players from around the world. Develop your strategy and lead your armies to victory. Vikings, War of Clans. Download free now.
Bezit is doing it again. Only this time, it's a brand new Jeep Wrangler, and it can be yours for only 99 cents. Don't miss out. Go to Bezit.com right now and get your 99-cent Jeep. Hashtag Jeep for cheap. BEECID.com. Bezit.
This is how I dress to get a mortgage. I just go to LendingTree. I calculate how much home I can afford. I get multiple offers to compare side by side. And the best part is, the banks come crawling to me.
LendingTree. When banks compete, you win.
Back with John Kruk, Tim Kirkshin, Camden Yards we go. Uh-oh, loaded Trumbo. Races one into right off Joe Kelly.
I tell you what, everyone's critical of the Orioles for what are they going to do with Trumbo? He can't play the field. Well, he can hit.
Yeah, that's worked out for them. All right, last night, Jake Arrieta was on the mound for the Cubs. And by anyone else's standards, he was ridiculously good. But by Jake's standards, probably like an 8.5 out of 10. So the day after, you spent some time with Rick Sutcliffe.
60 feet 6 inches with Jake Arrieta. You ever smile?
Occasionally, days I don't pitch is normally when you see me smile. But yeah, I will occasionally.
Besides baseball, is there anything else you enjoy?
Man, during the season, downtime with the kids, I like to play some golf if I can. It's hard to work things in during the year, though.
Legendary for your workouts. What's the craziest thing you do?
Probably jumping on standalone physio balls from a standstill.
Obviously, I don't know what a physio ball is.
You know, big, it looks like a balloon, thick rubber, but I kind of shut that down a few years ago. But something I enjoy.
Pressed juice, green juices. You ever put anything bad in your body?
A lot of Ben & Jerry's. Half-baked Ben & Jerry's, cookie dough. That's my fault right there.
You won the Cy Young Award. You know that there's 4 other guys that won the Cy Young Award. Can you name them?
You got Suter, you got Fergie, Maddox, myself, and I hear there's one other guy. Who's the 5th?
I'm right here. I'm right here.
That's my fault. That's my fault. All right.
That's 60 feet 6 inches with Jake Arrieta.
Monday Night Baseball, you'll be able to see the Cubs and the Philadelphia Phillies. That game starts at 7 o'clock Eastern time. The Fightin' Phils. Let's get to some other highlights here before we talk All-Stars in the National League. St. Louis and Milwaukee. Ryan Braun certainly is making a case for himself to play in the All-Star game.
Right. He's also making a case to maybe be dealt at the trade deadline. A lot of people would like to fit him in the middle of their order. He could help somebody down the stretch. We'll see.
Playing really well. A lot of teams interested in Ryan Braun. Meantime, the rest of the offense, that's a strikeout, and we're going to strand the bases loaded. Maldonado would get another chance. Have faith. We'll go to the 3rd inning of this one, and look who's back up.
Wow,
Here we go.
Exploded again.
Guess what happens?
He popped up. Carl, I've been in that situation.
Caught in fair territory by Stephen Piscotty. But Maldy's going to get another chance, I have a feeling. Couple of bases loaded. Now we're...
Yeah, Han Solo, yeah. There's a little more relaxed. There you go. Free the hands up, young man.
Free the hands up. What does that mean? What is that?
So sometimes you get up in key situations, your hands a little tighter on the bat, and you don't get that good bat speed whipping through the zone.
Just get
going on, free and easy, baby.
Free and easy. Tim, the Brewers are not going to go to the playoffs. Zach Davies today looked like somebody teams should be asking about.
8 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts. He was brilliant, and he is the youngest-looking player in the major leagues.
He's going back to high school right after. I mean, the whole Craig Counsell thing feels like Zach Davies.
Right around high school graduation. He should be getting his diploma soon, yeah.
Right.
Bob Feller did go back to high school after pitching in the major leagues for the Indians. He pitched in the big leagues, and then he returned to high school in the offseason. That's how young he was in the big leagues.
Joe Nuxall, right?
Joe Nuxall was 16, yes.
All right, this is the All-Star team. First voting right now. We got Harper, we got Dexter Fowler, Cespedes in the outfield. Solid. Braun, another guy that you could consider. Look at all the Cubs in the infield. Chicago fans have shown up for Russell as well. Yadier Molina hasn't had an All-Star season, but this is how the All-Star game works.
Right, and it's okay. We're way away from the All-Star game. I would probably have Wilson Ramos as the catcher.
Wilson Ramos.
And Buster Posey's had a good year.
Let's go with him, because he's...
on the list.
On the list.
All right.
What are we doing here? We love Bryant.
I would put Nolan Arenado
Yes, I like what you're doing there,
too. Bryant's a great player, though.
What are you doing here? You're putting Arenado? Yep. Anybody else? Shortstop, Russell?
Daniel Murphy's got to be the second baseman.
Zobrist out.
The great year that Zobrist has had has been even better by Daniel Murphy.
All right, so we're good with this, but perhaps not necessarily Posey, Wilson, Ramos.
This is fine. It's June the 1st.
Here's what I want to know.
Right.
If available, Kershaw, Arrieta, who's starting? Strasburg?
Strasburg is 9-0.
Who's starting
the game? You
game?
got 2 guys 9-0, and you got Kershaw. I don't know. It's impossible to get.
Syndergaard.
I love Syndergaard. I also love him out of the bullpen.
Terry Collins will be managing, so could
Maybe
see
Harvey.
Syndergaard.
Maybe
Harvey.
Easy now.
Sunday Night Baseball. We're going to be in the Lou, St. Louis. You know what they have there?
Risotto.
Risotto. It's so good. Everyone thinks St. Louis, meat, pasta. Check the risotto out. It is spectacular. Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll come back. We'll get into the top home runs of the month. And then Tim will tell us, I don't know how, but he'll give us the top 5 home runs of all time.
Yes, it's my list. It's a guess.
Oh, boy.
Timmy's list.
They asked me to do it.
For years, our world has been at peace, but something is coming.
They're saying giants with wolves, huge monsters.
If we do not stop them now,
our world will be destroyed.
send everything we've got.
Whatever you plan to do it now!
Warcraft. Experience it in IMAX 3D. Rated PG-13.
Right now, get 2 Whopper meals for just $10 at Burger King. Introducing the 2 for $10 Whopper meal. Get 2 Whopper sandwiches, 2 fries, and 2 drinks, all for just $10. It's the steal of a deal because you get 2 meals. Get the 2 for $10 Whopper meal now, only at Burger King.
How's the training going?
Set has taken over Egypt.
We need your help. You must protect the mortals.
I'm coming for you.
Ace is a place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I got bare spots in my yard.
Ace is a place with the cure for lawn pattern baldness.
It's gonna grow back nice and thick. Print out our online coupon and save 25% on one regular priced item under $50.
How oftentimes we hear the praises sung of wealthy men.
But you very seldom hear them sing of the honest working man.
His hands may be both rough and hard.
His clothes and speech be plain.
But you will find his manly heart without a spot or stain.
Let us give 3 cheers
With right goodwill.
for the honest working man.
At Carrabba's, we start with fresh ingredients, so we have tons of made-from-scratch choices. But now you don't have to choose just one. For a short time, mix and match classics and creations to build your perfect trio starting at $13.99. Carrabba's, this is how you do Italian.
This is our point of view. If there's a better way, take it. If there's a claim, stake it. If there's a perception, escape it. If there's an open road, never waste it. And if there's a dream to be chased, chase it. This is what we make, and this is how we make it.
This is Anthony Rizzo, all-star first baseman for the Chicago Cubs. When he's not playing baseball, he's reading about baseball.
God, he's so good.
When he's not reading about baseball, he's listening to baseball. When he's not listening to baseball, what's
up, boys?
He's watching live baseball.
Jonesy. Ooh, that's deep. Ooh.
And when he's not watching live baseball, he's playing baseball. MLB.com app bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
This is Major League. We're going for the win. If you ain't got a swing, get off the field. The crowd is pump, pump, pump. It's time to show me some 1-0. Come on, hit a home run.
All right, we are 1 month removed. It's now June 1, so let's look back at May. Longest home run of the month, Giancarlo Stanton. 490 over that carnival ride in center field.
That hurts.
That was the good stand because it hasn't been very good.
No, it's struggled since that one.
That's a wow.
Vladimir Valentin having the longest. That's your exit velo, 118 miles an hour.
Is that good, Cruggy?
Average is about 111, 112, so yeah, that's good. That's Carlos Beltran, his 400th career home run all time. And again, we'll ask now, Hall of Famer?
I think he's still borderline, but he makes a very good case.
Fourth switch hitter to hit 400, Mantle Murray Chipper. Oh, Bart!
Greatest home run ever hit, non-historic category.
Oldest man ever to hit his first career homer, 42 years old.
I take it back, it's historic.
That's a thing. Oldest home run, non-historical. That's a thing. I love that. That right there says it all, I think.
You know,
Bart getting a little unbuttoned up in the front there. But
Really putting the test to the threads and the buttons there, yeah.
Matt Albers doesn't look a whole lot different than that, and he hit a double and scored the winning run in the 13th inning.
Played my whole career like
let's
that,
listen.
my friend.
Let's listen and look back one more time at Bart's blast.
Come to the ballpark never knowing what you're going to see.
Cologne looking for his first hit of the year. He drives one.
If it stays fair, it's out of here! The impossible has happened!
Touch 'em all, the slowest home run trot you've ever seen.
What a marvelous moment for the country and the world.
You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
This is one of the great moments in the history of baseball.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And with that, it is time for Way Back Wednesday, brought to you by Jack Daniels. We've gone way back to the old touchscreen. That's a great picture right there. Can I get my camera, my phone, and take a little picture?
Bartolo and Granderson. Guess which one's Bartolo?
Yeah. All right, Bart, show us the top 5 of all time.
All right, now this is impossible.
Well, time out. Where's Bart?
No Bart on there.
Well, I'm leaving.
Look, this is really, really hard to do, but I'm going to start with Kirk Gibson at number 5 here. Did I do this properly? Probably not.
Let Croc try. Let Bart try. Yep, there's Gibson.
All right, Gibson's home run changed that World Series. The Jack Buck call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
It was just amazing. So that's number 5 for me, and to leave some of these other guys off was really difficult to do. Number 4 was Bobby Thompson. Again, one of the great calls of all time by Russ Hodges.
You're just doing it too hard.
Sorry, the Giants win the pennant, and of course they beat the Dodgers and capped that incredible comeback. Number 3 is Hank Aaron. That famous night in April in which he passed Babe Ruth. Hank Aaron seriously cried at home plate. And look at Tom House. He caught the game-winning, and he caught the home run there. He got sent to left center field saying they'll never hit it out here, and he hit it right to him. He barely had to move his glove. And the great Hank Aaron.
And the Dusty Baker part of that story.
Of course.
The high five whole thing.
Right. Number 2 is Joe Carter. Sorry about this, Crucky, but it's the second time in Major League history that a World Series has ended.
I'm not helping you with that one.
I am so bad at this that a World Series ended.
See, that's how bad a pick that is. It don't even want to register. There you go.
Right. That ball was, I was in the aux box. It was.
Oh, were you? I was standing at first base.
Sorry about that. And the biggest, greatest home run of all time is Bill Mazeroski.
Polish power, baby.
Game 7 in 1960. And the Pirates came back. They got outscored tremendously in that series. Mazeroski hit that home run. The Pirates won 10-9 in a game that featured no strikeouts. by the way.
Okay, we went from the best execution of a touchscreen with the All-Stars.
That was the worst,
to the worst
I've ever seen.
It's not even close. That was the worst I've ever seen.
Right.
You tried 5 times, and we went over 5.
I didn't do it right even once.
The whole thing was
I
terrible.
got to strain my rotator cuff.
the home runs
But look at the ones we left off here. He hit more homers than anyone in history. This one in Game 6. Al Booney was pretty good, too. Kirby Puckett. And Roger Maris passing Babe Ruth's single season on the last day of the season in '61.
Do you have a most memorable? Doesn't even have to be up here.
Well, Bobby Thompson, my brother was born that day.
Let's see. Personal touch.
Yeah, so I love Gibson's because what he went through just to get up there. But my favorite home run ever, Bartolo.
I figured that.
Yeah.
The most important, non-significant home run of all time. That's a thing. You want a picture with Seager? You can do that at Wrigley tonight. Boy, Cub fans are really friendly. Hey, Clayton, can you sign something? Corey, can you sign something for me?
Yeah.
They're all signing. The best seats at every ballpark for every game. Visit MLB.com/tickets today. What a night in Chicago. We got the Cubs and the Dodgers coming up right here on ESPN. First pitch in about 17 minutes.
At Farmers, we've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything, even a UFH2O.
That's not good.
That's not good.
That's really not good.
It happened August 14th, 2008, and we covered it. Talk to Farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Why wait for the weekend for fun when you can get our best deal ever on Wednesdays at Dave & Buster's? Play half-price games every Wednesday. Every game is half off all day long. All the fun, half the price. Only on Wednesdays at Dave & Buster's.
You knew me in high school as Fat Robbie. Spoiler alert, I'm in the CIA.
Which car are we taking?
Not that one.
Oh, God.
Central Intelligence, rated PG-13.
Experience the thrill of the Lexus Performance line. Because the ultimate expression of power is control. This is the pursuit of perfection.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
For people with heart failure, tomorrow is not a given. But Entresto is a medicine that helps make more tomorrows possible.
Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow.
In the largest heart failure study ever, Entresto helped more people stay alive and out of the hospital than a leading heart failure medicine. Women who are pregnant must not take Entresto. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or Aliskiren. If you've had angioedema while taking an ACE or ARB medicine, don't take Entresto. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high potassium in your blood.
Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow.
Ask your heart doctor about Entresto and help make tomorrow possible.
You're only a day away.
The rematch we've all been waiting for. The king on a quest, the champs looking for the repeat. Either way, it's about to get historic. The NBA Finals, it's on. Cavs, Warriors, tomorrow at 9 on ABC.
I just saved thousands on my loan at LendingTree.com.
In less than a minute, I found out how much home I can afford.
I like how you shop for loans the same way you shop for flights online.
I didn't realize at LendingTree, you can save money on almost any sort of loan.
I consolidated my credit card debt with a personal loan.
I found a new credit card with 0% interest for 15 months. You just shop, compare, and save. And it's all free.
Go to LendingTree right now and start saving.
I thought I married an Italian.
My lineage was the Vecchios and Zuccolis. Through Ancestry, through the DNA, I found out that I was only 16% Italian.
He was 34% Eastern European. So I went on to Ancestry, soon learned that one of our ancestors we thought was Italian was Eastern European.
This is my ancestor I didn't know about. He looks a little bit like me, yes.
Ancestry has many paths to discovering your story. Get started for free at Ancestry.com.
First of every month, always great. We take a look at the Web Gems brought to you by Firestone for the month of May.
Racing back, bridging at the track. Out, and he's able to make the grab. What a catch.
Drury ends up in the first row. What a catch.
Crawford slices it in the air to center, sending Pilar on the move, and he lays out.
Wow. One to center field. Charlie slides. Boy, he's had to run all over the place out there tonight.
Springer is going back at the wall, leaps at the wall, and he made the catch. And he takes away a home run. What a play! And makes the catch.
You have got to be cartooning me.
Racing back over his shoulder.
Back goes Hayward, back toward the wall. Jason Hayward made an amazing catch.
Oh, my goodness, look at that catch.
Fair ball, could be 3. My goodness, they did it again.
The new Subway carved turkey and bacon sandwich.
What are you most thankful for in that sandwich?
The carved turkey, quality turkey.
It's delicious.
You want to go halvesies on this?
Halvesies? That's a Thanksgiving tradition.
The new carved turkey and bacon sandwich. It's day after Thanksgiving good. Subway, fresh is what we do.
Have a garden? Then you know. Weeds are low-down little scoundrels. Draw the line with Roundup. The Sure Shot wand extends with a protective shield to target weeds precisely and kill them right down to the root. Draw the line with the Roundup Sure Shot wand.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I got bare spots in my yard.
Ace is the place with the cure for lawn pattern baldness.
It's going to grow back nice and thick. Print out our online coupon and save 25% on one regular priced item under $50.
Come on, Steve. It's not that hard of a game. It's so embarrassing.
Go easy on Steve. That was the club's fault. Trade in yours for some that'll make you want to practice more. At Golfsmith.
Innovative Sonicare technology with up to 27% more brush movements versus Oral-B. Get healthier gums in 2 weeks guaranteed. Innovation in you. Philips Sonicare. Save when you buy the most loved rechargeable toothbrush brand in America.
And in a world held back by compromise, businesses need the agility to do one thing and another.
I want to hear from both of you. Rose, you first.
Only AT&T has the network, people, and partners. Let me show you. To help companies be local and global. Open and secure. Because no one knows and like AT&T.
Take on the unexpected with a car that could stop for you. Nissan Safety Shield Technologies, available in the Altima, Sentra, and Maxima.
Let's talk turkey. New premium carved turkey at Subway. It's oven roasted just right. Sliced thick, tender, juicy, just the way you like it. And it tastes even better with fresh veggies and Applewood smoked bacon. Our new carved turkey and bacon sandwich. Subway. Fresh is what we do.
This is the heart of the Kansas City Royals. As individual players, they're pretty special. As a team, they're World Series champs.
What we see? Lay down.
They're like family. And every family needs family photos.
Wow.
We're back. Take a look at a play with StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services. But for all the home runs he hit last night, Mookie Betts also made the play of the night in right field for the Red Sox, starting in between the center fielder and Pedroia. He went 20 miles an hour, and he covered almost 80 feet.
3 homers and a Web Gem in one night. Pretty good.
All right, so he's got 4 homers already. We showed you the one from tonight. Mike Wright on the mound. buzzes the old tower, although it really looked like it was almost over the center of the plate. Doug Eddings warns both benches. Buck's like, we've seen that look before. And John Farrell came out wondering why we got warned. We didn't do anything. Same at batting, does it again.
So he's the first leadoff guy to have multi-homer games in consecutive games since Alfonso Soriano in 2008. We're efforting. I promise you, no leadoff guy has hit 5 homers in back-to-back games.
He's got 5 home runs in his last 7 at-bats. The
We're
game
looking
is
that
tied
up.
4-4.
Pretty good slugging percentage.
My goodness. So let's talk a little bit about bets. We've seen the National League All-Star team. If this continues, you put him right alongside a guy like Trout in the outfield, and you're looking pretty special, aren't you? This is crazy stuff.
Carl, he leads the league in runs scored. He's got, going into tonight, 12 homers and 40 RBIs out of the leadoff spot. He is on a pace for over 200 hits and over 80 extra base hits. That's a small group that's done that.
I like the fact that he didn't jump up, stare down the pitcher, get things escalate. He just went deep and said, I'll run around the bases, enjoy it.
Right behind us, you see the scores of the other games. You'll get the updates of those games during the Dodgers and Cubs. For Tim Kirkshin, John Kruk, Carl Ravitch, enjoy the game, everybody.
All right, Ravi, Wednesday Night Baseball coming to you from Wrigley Field in Chicago. Turned into a nice night as the Cubs and the Dodgers get together. It's Wednesday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Hankook Tire. Quick peek at the standings. The Cubs, the best record in all of baseball through 50 games. They're 35-50. The Dodgers, after their win yesterday, moved to within 4.5 of the Giants in the National League West. Hi, everybody. Jon Sciambi alongside Rick Sutcliffe. Dodgers and Cubs here tonight. Two teams forecasted to be among the best in the game. In fact, the Cubs picked among Vegas insiders as the prohibitive favorite. And so here we are, 50 games in. What do you see with these Cubs? Last year, they didn't quite get to the World Series, but they got a really good team.
Well, I see that it's all there right now. I think they've added more ability, they've added durability, and I think the real key is that they've added postseason experience. You just take a look at the numbers. They're better in all phases of the game. The #1 ERA in all of baseball, of course, led by Jake Arrieta. You think about their offense, Joe Maddon's lineup 1 through 8. Power and speed, they can beat you in so many ways. But the biggest area of improvement for me has been their defense. You think about Jason Hayward out there in the outfield every day, Russell at shortstop every day. Look at that run differential. That's 72 more than any other team in the National League. And I think about what Theo Epstein did with Boston, how he built that ball club to sustain success. They had to be average or better at every position. This Cub team is like that. They're built to win.
Yeah, offensively, very similar feel to some of those Red Sox teams with the high on base, #1 in the National League in that department. All right, we'd have to center field. Join the third member of our team, Doug Glanville, best defender on our crew. Dougie, let's talk Dodgers, team, an organization that spent a lot of money. Where do they stand for you?
Well, that tells the story, John. The money spent, so the expectations are high. And it's part of the change the Dodgers are going through. They have the new manager hired in the offseason. They recognize that this money now has to deliver. But look at their numbers and their story. $249 million payroll. Huge number expected, of course, with that type of investment to deliver. And right now they're teetering. They're kind of at the 500 level. But look at the Clayton Kershaw story. 10-1 when he's starting. The rest of the starters deliver only an 18-24 record. So that brings to questions their depth, which brings an even bigger question how they're going to do in the postseason. And the disabled list trips, 15 already. Andre Ethier certainly a key part, a left-handed hitter who is very versatile, played first base, played outfield. They're really missing that contribution. So they got to tie these numbers up to make the change into a positive, to really show that that investment has been worthwhile.
Scott Kazmir was excellent last night for the Dodgers. The non-Kershaw starts so crucial. Mike Bolsinger getting the call, making his 33rd big league start, a career ERA of .425. Meanwhile, John Lester, for a rare time following a Jake Arrieta start that turned into a Cubs loss. So Bolsinger and Lester our starting pitching matchup tonight, and due up. Speaking of Jake Arrieta, he'll go 60 feet 6 inches with Rick Sutcliffe as well. We'll debate best pitcher. Is it Jake the Snake or is it Clayton Kershaw? And then updates from around the league. The fellows in the clubhouse will have all the news. It's Wednesday Night Baseball.
Can a car be crafted instead of produced? Designed with attention and care to give a feeling that stays with you. At Mazda, every detail matters because driving matters. The all-new 3-row Mazda CX-9.
Hey there, can I help you with anything?
Hey, Siri, what's AT&T's latest offer?
Oh, I don't think that Siri
right now, switch to AT&T for an iPhone and get one free.
Wow, is that right?
Yeah, it's basic.
Yes, that is the current offer from AT&T.
Okay, Siri, you don't know everything.
Well, I know you asked me to call you the AT&T hostess with the most...
Okay, shut her down, turn it off.
Right now, buy an iPhone and get another one free when you add a second line.
Double down on your candy and coffee cravings with Dunkin's new Heath and Almond Joy Candy Bar flavored iced coffees. America runs on Dunkin'.
Something's going on in this town. I've seen things I can't explain.
Outcast premieres Friday at 10/9 Central, only on Cinemax.
Oh, looks like we missed most of the show.
Yeah, and there's no way to restart it.
With DirecTV, there is.
You see, we got the power to turn back time, so let's restart the show that started at 9. And while we're at it, let's give you back your due and give her back the guy she liked before you. Hey, that's the power to turn back time.
Get the ultimate all-included bundle. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
My life has changed completely.
And I'm gonna walk my way to the body that I want.
All I really had to do was walk.
I'm Jillian Michaels, America's toughest trainer. You want to burn more calories? You want unbelievable results? Well, guess what? There's a better way. The X11i Incline Trainer from Nordic Track. You want to know what Nordic Track's calorie burning secret is? Incline.
The X11i can go from an incredible -6 to 40% incline for 5 times the calorie burn.
5 times more calories
just by walking.
But Nordic Track's not done. At the touch of a button, you'll activate iFit. Powered by Google Maps, you'll be able to train anywhere in the world, all from your living room. Experience 5 times the calorie burn with the X11i Incline Trainer from Nordic Track.
The only place you can get your incline trainer is at NordicTrack.com. Order today with 0% down and free shipping. Only at NordicTrack.com.
Wednesday Night Baseball on ESPN is presented by Hankook Tire. Chase down your passion, never halfway. And in part by Mazda, driving matters. Back here at Wrigley Field, Dave Roberts got a nice birthday present yesterday. A Dodger 5-0 win in his first season as the skipper of the LA Dodgers, trying to take him to the playoffs for the 4th straight season. And let's check out the lineup that he has put together. Our starting lineups brought to you by Panera. Dodgers 7th in the league in runs per game. Corey Seager with another home run last night. That was really the put-away shot, his 9th of the year, and having himself a very good May as the calendar turns to June. Meanwhile, Trace Thompson, last 22 games, he's knocked in 14. Yasiel Puig not playing again. That hamstring has been a problem for Puig of late. Meanwhile, for the Cubs, they're led by their skipper, Joe Madden, in his 2nd year. They got all the way to the National League Championship Series a season ago. Out on the field before the game, he actually had his team meet with some comfort dogs, as just to give a little comfort, a little therapy following their loss last night. He's always got a trick up his sleeve. And as the Cubbies take the field, and yeah, here they are, just trying to make the fellas feel a little better.
I thought the timing was perfect. I mean, they lost the start by Jake Arrieta. There's a lot of concern going on with that ball club. But you know what? This is something Joe Madden had planned months ago. There's just all kinds of little things that he tries to get into to add some levity to what, as we both know, can be a long season.
Indeed. And on the mound tonight for the Cubs, it is John Lester, the burly southpaw getting the start. And you look at that 248 ERA, he's been solid this season.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, this is vintage Jon Lester. He's a guy that's going to go out there and take his turn. He'll start at least 30 games a year. This will be the 9th consecutive year that he's done that. Last year, some tough luck against these Los Angeles Dodgers. In 2 starts, he was 0-2 with an ERA over 8. You can see they're very difficult to hit the ball out of the park for a left-handed hitter. Chase Utley, Adrian Gonzalez, not in Dave Roberts' lineup.
A couple of changes for the Cubs, at least out there defensively, as Chris Bryant is in the outfield, so it's Javier Baez getting to start at third base. A rocket for an arm, and it's basically like they have 2 shortstops on the left side of the infield. Bryant out there playing in left. He can play all 3 outfield spots and has at the big league level. So this game 3 between these 2 teams, and on Monday Jason Hamill had to exit the game with a hamstring cramp. The bullpen for the Cubs came in and they were absolutely brilliant. The Dodgers came up with 1 hit. The last 25 batters retired in a row, and LA didn't score. And then last night, the Cubs last 19 batters in a row.
I'll tell you what, that's the best fastball command that I've ever seen Scott Kazmir have. The Cubs were talking about it today. He was just better than we were a night ago.
Kazmir and the Dodgers getting a win last night. And ready to roll here at Wrigley with Kike Hernandez. This guy's year got off to a great start. On April 15th, he actually hit a pair of homers in a game against Madison Bumgarner. He led the Dodgers to a win. He drives one here left field. Bryant back at the track, and it's gone. A leadoff homer into the bleachers for Kike Hernandez, his 3rd homer of the year, and the Dodgers jump out 1-0.
Well, the thing about Jon Lester is he has this cutter that he tries to bury in. You saw that at the first pitch of the game, but this one he didn't quite bury it. It got a little bit part of the plate and enough of anticipation by Hernandez's part to get the head out. That first pitch set up the second one. And once you get the head out, you have a chance, especially with the cutting action riding right to the barrel. And Bryant tries to look up. Has no chance to make the play.
So a home run, and now it's Justin Turner. And the first pitch cutter is fouled back. Kike Hernandez, I mentioned that 2-homer game. It's been a rough go for him since he did that April 15th. Coming into tonight, a 109 average, 7 for 64. But he starts the night off in fine fashion with a leadoff homer.
Talking with Doc Dave Roberts before the game about his ball club. They're coming off an outstanding month of May in which they went 4 games over 500. The pitching was solid. The ERA just over 3. He said a lot of guys are starting to get it together. And I guess now Hernandez might be one of them.
Turner chases that. Ross picks it up, throws him out, and a strikeout for the first out of the game. So Kike Hernandez getting the Dodgers on the board, a team that a season ago was a lot more dependent on home runs to score. Last night, a home run factored in by this guy, Corey Seager, just 22 years old.
And he hit that home run last night when it was not friendly to hit home runs. The wind was heavy, knocking it down, but he hit such a line drive, it just absolutely cut through the wind.
Seager, his older brother Kyle, of course, playing third base for the Mariners.
He too is on fire right now.
Chase Utley getting the night off.
Yeah, and talking with Chase last night before the ball game, the first thing he mentioned about Corey Seager is the skill set. He said it's all there. I mean, he's just going to continue to get better because he wants to. And I really think having Chase Utley next to him is an important part of that. And I really think Boog, right along with that, I think that's another part of the reason why they gave Ben Zobrist the 4 years, was to bring him in to kind of help Addison Russell come along.
Well, what a start Zobrist is off to. Here's a 3-0, and Lester gets it through there. Seager, who came up in early September last year, and he's put on quite a show in his brief time at the majors. That finds the mark. Adrian Johnson, our plate umpire, with the call. So from 3-0 to 3-2. Seager back in, payoff pitch.
You can see so far Lester's really working that side of the plate, outside to lefties, inside to righties. And he's had a lot of success so far this season in the first inning. Really hasn't given up many runs. Obviously the home run changed that, but generally he's been working away to lefties, into righties.
Another big cut right there. But one of the things we've seen with Seager, not afraid to let the ball get deep, has very good power to center and left. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Hit hard and past Rizzo into right field. So Seager is aboard, and time now to send it back to the clubhouse and say hello to Adnan Virk.
You're well aware of the clubhouse now, Boog. We love it. Alongside John Kruk, it's Boston and Baltimore. David Ortiz goes deep again, Crucky.
Yeah, and you know, home runs are flying out of Camden Yards like it's apt to do in that ballpark with Poppy, no doubt.
5-all top of the third. Betts gone deep twice, Boog.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on Mookie Betts. What a season David Ortiz is having. At 40 years old, his final season. And he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. I mean, a legit MVP candidate through the first 2 months of the season.
This is an interesting matchup here because Lester likes to bear that fastball in with the cut action, and Kendrick is the master of inside out and kind of carving that pitch to the opposite field. And they're given a monster hole on the right side, which is really where Kendrick loves to shoot that ball to the right fielder.
That one missing. Doug, last night, one of the things we talked about, Rick, Jake Arrieta, you can run on him. Well, you can run on this guy as well, even more so. And he's just not going to throw over there very much. It's the start of 2014, 4 pickoff attempts, meaning he's thrown over there 4 times.
It puts a lot of pressure on first baseman Anthony Rizzo to do the jockeying back and forth that he has to do to keep him there.
One knocked down, and Lester will take the shore out at first as he goes underhand. And there's 2 away, Seager to second.
Yeah, and regardless of whether he fielded this clean or not, he's not going to make that throw to second base. He's just not going to take a chance of it leading into a big inning. When the ball drops, it makes it simple. He's able to start taking a couple steps in that direction, and then the underhand toss.
You know, and given the situation with Lester's struggles, you just got to run. And we saw there Corey Seager end up patting himself on the chest like, my bad. Every time he gets on, he should be taken off. He's not going to throw over to first base. He's not comfortable with it. You can get a huge lead, and you can get a huge jump. And if he does throw by the time Rizzo gets it, he's going to have all the time in the world to get to second base. So, you know, the Dodgers have to open up that pressure every time they're on first base.
It looks like he's going to take third right now. And it doesn't look like the Cubs could care less about that.
Throw down to second, close play save. Ross is obviously the guy you got to be aware of.
Well, as you mentioned, Sud, if you're going to take third, and you got to take it, otherwise that secondary lead can get you in trouble. So, you know, Seager gets back. But once you decide you're not running, then it's all about the secondary lead. You have to score on a base hit. So you get big hops, and when the ball's in the hitting zone, you got to have some momentum going towards third base.
David Ross has been very good. The Cubs defense has been brilliant so far this year. I just don't understand. You know what? I take that back. I do understand. I guess I just don't agree with it. I think that against John Lester, some team is going to have to get ultra aggressive on it because there's still some type of fear that he's going to make a throw. I mean, even you watched Lester staring at Seager, and he stares at him, and he takes 2 steps back to second. He's not throwing the ball.
You're yelling at me.
Sorry. You're right.
I mean, John can hear you.
I apologize.
When you talk about a team getting aggressive, we'll just go back a couple of years ago to that wild card game when Kansas City ran their way to victory against Oakland.
Trace Thompson here. NBA Finals will start tomorrow night. Big Bro Clay and the Warriors will take on the Cavs tomorrow evening on ABC. Check swing didn't go, says Nick Lentz.
I talked to you about it before the game. I had about 15 minutes with Trace Thompson before the game and was just blown away. What a terrific job his parents have done. What a wonderful young man. And I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, this kid is going to be an all-star in the next couple of years. The Chicago White Sox are going to regret that they let this one get away.
Lester the 3-2. And that's hit towards third. Baez, nice pick on the backhand. One-hop throw in time. Well, John Lester gives up the leadoff homer. Kike Hernandez turns the cutter around, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead.
In the NBA Finals, when the away team wins, things get interesting. And now, delicious. Because the first team to steal a road game will also steal a Doritos Locos Taco for everyone in America. Steal a game, steal a taco. Only at Taco Bell.
My sons, your greatest enemies have returned for revenge.
You know what we gotta do?
Hold on!
What are you, chicken?
What are you calling chicken? Turtle?
Ninja Turtles. Rated PG-13.
If you a champion, show me you a champion. If you a champion, show me you a champion. The rematch we've all been waiting for. The king on a quest. The champs looking for the repeat. Either way, it's about to get historic. LeBron and Steph. The Cavs and Dubs at it again. The NBA Finals. It's on. Game 1, Cavs, Warriors. Tomorrow at 9 on ABC.
Back here at Wrigley Field, time for the Cubs starting lineups, brought to you by Panera Bread. Dexter Fowler atop the leadoff order. What a season he's had thus far, not just offensively but defensively too, but 4th in the league in OPS at the moment after re-signing with the Cubs. And then Ben Zobrist, great free agent sign. They got him 4 years, $56 million. And he was brilliant in May. Look at that, over 400 since April 21st, and that is tops in the game. The Cubs 2nd in the league in runs per game, and they will go up against Mike Bolsinger.
28 years of age. He was born right here in the Chicago area. Went to the University of Arkansas, helped them get to the College World Series back in '09. And you can see there, he's had some problems in his last 10 starts in this first inning.
Yeah, there's a strike to Fowler.
You're going to see a natural cut fastball, normally barely to 90 miles an hour. You're going to see an outstanding curveball. Not afraid to pitch in.
Yep. So Fowler will take his base.
I think the natural cut to that pitch might have been what happened to Dexter Fowler. He sees it here. He's got time to get away, but he really doesn't move a whole lot to get out of the way. He didn't take that. He wasn't leaving his elbow out there for that reason. I think he recognized the spin, thought it was going to be away from him, and it just because of that cut going from right to left, it chased him.
So leadoff man aboard. And Bolsinger to face Jason Hayward. One of the things we documented in the open, and I think that will be talked about up until and then after the trade deadline, and that is the Dodgers and the non-Kershaw starts. Who else is going to step up? Kazmir certainly did last night. But the Dodgers 10-1 with Clayton Kershaw starts, and 18-24 when everybody else starts. And there he is. As good as it gets. Number 22.
I think the big thing is that they're obviously in non-Kershaw starts, they're going to have to score more. And I see that offense starting to come around. I really think that Trace Thompson is going to be a heart of the order type guy. I was really impressed with his at-bats last night and the improvement in each at-bat off of Jake Arrieta. Seager's a star in the making. Adrian Gonzalez is going to drive in 90 again. And if this is the last year for Chase Utley, he wants it to be a typical Chase Utley year.
Good eye for Hayward. Jason delivering a patient at bat 3-0 on a sunny night. Oh, Jimmy Platt, our director, having a field day. Look at those shadows making that art. And that is ball 4. First to reach. Let's send it back to the clubhouse. Hello, Adnan.
Hello, Boog. An update for you here on the Giants and the Braves. With Tim Kirch in San Francisco up 2-0 with Hunter Pence as he's running to first here. Tim hurts his hammy.
You know, the Giants are in first place because they've been so healthy all year. Pence has had some injuries in the past. This doesn't look good at all. You mess with a hammy with an athletic guy like him, bad news.
He's left the game. Joe Panic now up with the bases loaded. We'll keep you updated, Boog.
That is not good for the Giants, a guy that's been so crucial to their success the past few years.
Well, and you know what half the people that are watching our telecast right now are thinking? But that is good news because they're Dodger fans. That's a huge blow for Bruce Bochy's team. And when you look at these Dodgers, just 4.5 games behind them coming into play. Bolsinger can do a lot of things, Dougie, with that curveball. Watching his last start, he can even back it up, which means he can normally it'll go from right to left away from a right-handed hitter. He can run it in on a right-handed hitter because of his release.
Bryant cuts and misses. Got a couple of good curveballs. Bolsinger gets the strikeout. And now Ellis out to the mound. Let's go back to the clubhouse. Time for live look in. Here's Adnan.
All right, Boog, thank you. Alongside Tim Kirchin and John Kruk, a live look in here at Mookie Betts as the Red Sox are currently up 7-5 in the top of the third. And Tim, he's trying to extend that hit streak.
Right, and he has also had a back-to-back game here with 3 homers and now 2 homers. That ties a major league record. No one's ever hit 3 homers in back-to-back games. We're efforting to see the first guy out of the leadoff spot to do this. I think he is. I've looked at the list. There aren't too many leadoff guys on there.
5 home runs, John Kruk, in his last 7 at-bats. This is why this Red Sox offense is so good.
Yeah, and had one thrown up and in on him to try to just shake him up a little bit, and then he hits a changeup out of the ballpark, so that didn't work.
So right now, it's already tons of runs have been scored. And Sut, what do you make of this Red Sox offense? Are they for real?
Take a look at both the home runs.
Gravity, Adnan, there's no question about that. We got a chance to see him earlier in the year. I don't feel like Big Papi's going to retire. You know, you look at the defense between Bradley Jr. out there and Mookie Betts. Dustin Pedroia is not the guy they lean on as much as they have in the past. I mean, just 1 through 9, that's the lineups that we saw for Terry Francona. Of course, John Farrell back in 2013 when they won it all.
And they had outscored the highest, second highest scoring team in the American League, the Mariners, by 52 runs going into tonight. That's the second best offense in the league. We're June the 1st. That's how good their offense is.
Well, we've definitely seen that in the past when it comes to run differential, how important it can be. Rizzo grounding out there. So 3-2 right now in bets. Doug Glanville, how about it? Boston, the team to beat, the American League East?
Well, I have them winning that division. And, you know, their offense is not only explosive, it's versatile, right? You have speed, you have power, you have young guys carrying the load, and David Ortiz centering it. Travis Shaw, don't sleep on him. This guy's a flat-out hitter. Some of the David Ortiz had mentioned to look for to being a batting title type guy. So a lot of weapons, and if that bullpen sort of gels, I don't see anybody catching them.
Sut, what about the starting pitching? David Price got off to a rocky start, but Stephen Wright's been a pleasant surprise.
I think it's been as good as it's been in a long, long time for them. David Price is there, Porcello with a bunch of wins already. I had a chance when we went to the south side of Chicago when they played the White Sox to watch Stephen Wright pitch. His command is outstanding. It's one of the harder knuckleballs in the game. And then last night, young Eduardo Rodriguez came back, had an outstanding start for them. He could be one of the better young left-handers in the American League East as well. So I love that. I love Kimbrel on the back end. They're built to win.
Right now, second and third in this Cubs game that you're watching with Sut, Doug Glanville, and Jon Sciambi. Back here in the clubhouse, Tim Kirch and John Kruk. I'm Adnan Virk. As you see, Mookie Betts there walking. So 7-5 right now for the Red Sox in the top of the third. The slugfest continues at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Bood, back to you.
All right, Adnan, thanks very much. And I'll make sure I call Sut Dallas one time. Just to
sorry about that.
Get you back for that.
I was looking around the ballpark here. Forgot that my mic was live.
That's right.
Love Adnan. You know that. Tell you what, I mean, he got himself in trouble with the hit by pitch with Fowler and the walk on 4 pitches to Hayward, but they've not had one good swing off of him. That cut fastball, they can't figure it out. Curveball way, way, way out in front. You know, Boog, we talked about not winning a start by Jake Arrieta. We didn't say a whole lot about the rough night for Ben Zobrist last night.
Struck out 3 times, all swinging. And make it 4 straight plate appearances, striking out swinging. So Bolsinger pitches himself into the jam and then pitches out of it. Punches out Zobrist. 1-0 LA.
Get just what you're craving with a McPick 2. Choose any 2 McDonald's classics for $5, like the 100% beef Big Mac, filet of fish made with sustainably sourced fish, or 10-piece chicken McNuggets made with white meat. Enjoy the choice. Find more delicious deals in our app.
These outdoor furnishings from Lowe's are so stylish, it almost feels like we're inside the house. Not that I've been in there. Or have I?
Now get a $50 Lowe's gift card when you purchase this Charbroil Advantage stainless steel gas grill.
My experience with USAA is awesome. Homeowners insurance, life insurance, automobile insurance. I spent 20 years active duty. They still refer to me as gunnery sergeant when I call. Being a USAA member, because of my service in the military, to pass that on to my kids, something that makes me happy. My name is Roger Zapata, and I'm a USAA member for life.
USAA. We know what it means to serve. Get an insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
Get just what you're craving with a McPick 2. Choose any 2 McDonald's classics for $5, like the 100% beef Big Mac, filet of fish made with sustainably sourced fish, or 10-piece chicken McNuggets made with white meat. Enjoy the choice. Find more delicious deals in our app.
Back here at Wrigley, Dodgers lead it 1-0. Boog, Sut, and Doug. And Doug Glanville with an article out on ESPN.com. And we touched on this last week, but Doug, you wrote a Great piece that you want to check out on ESPN.com about Dexter Fowler and his positioning. He's started deeper this season. And Dougie, take us through it.
Yeah, 2015, he was very shallow, and the metrics basically off of defensive run saves were unfavorable to him on deep plays. And so he started very shallow in 2015, and they recognized that maybe if he played a little deeper, 15 feet, they pushed him back, that he would have a better chance on these big ticket plays. And it sort of makes sense in that the deeper plays are where you get hurt. That's where the depth comes an issue. So 2015, he's shallow, and he was getting balls hit over his head. 2016, you look at the yellow spot, that's where he was last year. So he's moved back, and now he can take away some of those big plays. And that's something Jason Hayward is fantastic at. He was always able to play deep and go to the wall and take away those doubles, those triples, the plays that really can hurt you. So Fowler has all of a sudden changed his game. And look at these numbers over the last 3 seasons: -19, -12, +2. And +2, if he finishes with a positive number, it would be the first time in his career that he has a positive defensive run save. And really, when you look at the athleticism, the skill set, you don't see a guy who's a bad outfielder. So it comes down to the defensive run save being tied to positioning and really how well you make the play. And now they have him in a better position, a better starting point to actually execute.
Lester back to work. And that one clips the corner. So Peterson is gone. There's one away. Dougie, as far as positioning is concerned, tell me a little bit in terms of, what you're talking about with evaluating a player's performance.
Well, that's something that Joe Madden and I spoke to earlier. His concern is that defense doesn't have this absolute, like, okay, you look at the number and therefore he's good or he's bad. There's a lot of nuance to how the metrics are evolving. And it's not what I would consider a scouting report. Like, okay, you have a -2, therefore you don't get good jumps. It could just be a function of either the priorities of the team and where they're positioning or just not being in the right place at the right time. A good example is infield in. A shortstop, you come in, you're compromised. You're not going to have as much range. It limits you. If teams don't hit like a hard hit average, they don't hit balls as hard, the softer you hit it, the more range you're able to capably cover. So there's still some development, as every stat in the history of baseball took time to evolve and to find that sort of right fit to really be able to describe the talent of the player. And that's what didn't line up for Joe Madden. Like, Fowler is doing the same thing he did last year, skills-wise.
Yep.
He just is in a different place. And now, as defense is much more of a single organism with all the shifts, it's making a huge difference.
Inside corner, Ellis is gone 2 away.
Well, as you guys know, I mean, I was there for almost all of spring training, and pitching coach Chris Bosio was adamant about backing the outfield up. And his reasoning for that was because the pitching staff was so good. How many teams are going to be able to get 3 singles to score a run against us? That's not going to happen very often. But if you give them a double or a triple to the leadoff hitter or maybe the first hitter, then all of a sudden they just need one more hit to score. So it all makes sense, Dougie, everything. And well, what a great article that you put out there today, and something I look forward to reading every week.
Here's Crawford now, 2 down, bases empty. Carl getting to start in left field. Dougie, Fowler's kind of taking a page out of Kevin Kiermaier's book, a guy who put up great numbers last year but is notorious for playing so deep.
Yeah, Kiermaier, Gold Glove winner, really set a record for defensive run save, I think, ever, but also particularly outfield side. And Kiermaier, we had him on the Gold Glove Award show last year at the end of the year, and he's like, look, the singles, the balls in front of me are kind of more of a given. I need to take away the big plays, the doubles, the triples, the rob home runs, and he has a good enough arm to play deep, as does Dexter Fowler. He can get away with playing deep because he has an absolute cannon out there. So he recognized that was the priority.
So I'll tell you, one of the things that we heard this year that will stick with me the entire season, it's simple but profound. Don Cooper said to us, in terms of the link between pitching and defensive positioning, he said, I'm not defending against mistakes. I'm defending against pitches that are executed correctly.
Like that.
Nicely done. Lester strikes out the side. 1-2-3 go the Dodgers.
Some said Wendy's 4 for $4 was the biggest thing since.
And now for tonight's biggest news.
The 4 for $4 now comes with your choice of a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger or the new Crispy Chicken BLT. It's the biggest thing until...
This is our point of view. If there's a better way, take it. If there's a claim, stake it. If there's a perception, escape it. If there's an open road, never waste it. And if there's a dream to be chased, chase it. This is what we make, and this is how we make it.
$12 is all that's standing between you and a good time. Dine and drink, happening now. Pick your entree and pair it with a cocktail, wine, or beer for just $12. Dine and drink, only at Fridays.
Wait, where's third? There.
St. Denny. Theo, left. Shut down on 3 and run out to your position.
1, 2, 3. Goes on 3. Amen. Let's play ball. That's not 3. That's 2.
However you play ball, play ball. Go to playball.org to find out more.
Well, this week on Sunday Night Baseball, our telecast presented by Taco Bell. The Giants take on the Cardinals in St. Louis. Comes your way at 8 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Radio. Monday night, we will be in Philadelphia. These Cubs will be in town. Cubs at Philly, 7 Eastern, ESPN 2. Tuesday night, the Mets and the Pirates. We'll be in Philly, the three of us.
John Lester will be there.
That's right.
On the bump as well. Again.
All night long, live K-Zone all game, brought to you by Scott's Roundup.
You're going to see a curveball that starts above it and usually ends up below it.
Russell getting under this one. Hernandez out, makes the call, and a grab.
Well, it's been 8 days since Mike Bolsinger last started for the Los Angeles Dodgers, and you can see that, you know, really the rest was a little bit of rust with the first two hitters. But all of a sudden he settles down. He catches the strike with the curveball for the first pitch to Bryant, puts him away with it down below the zone, does the exact same thing to Ben Zobrist. Curveball for a strike, then he takes it down towards that back foot of a left-handed hitter. I mean, that curveball is what got him to the big leagues, and if he's going to win here at Wrigley tonight like he did in his very first big league win, it's going to be that curveball that carries him there.
And down, here's Baez. Why at the big league level do we see slider as primary breaking pitch more frequently than curveball as primary breaking pitch?
Well, there's less break to it, which means it's easier to command. And really that slider was what kept me in the big leagues. I had a good rookie year. The next couple of years I struggled because I couldn't consistently get the curveball over. And it was Dave Garcia, my manager in Cleveland, saying that I'd like to use you more if you had a breaking ball you could throw for a strike. And took me down to the bullpen. They taught me a grip on a slider, and I mean, everything in my life changed. And you're going to see Bolsinger do different things. I mean, it's constantly the curveball with him. It'll look like a slider because he'll throw it harder, but he knows that that's the pitch he has to have. He not only has to locate it, but a lot like what, you know, great pitchers with good fastballs do, he's got to change speeds on that pitch as well.
Baez got that one off the arm plate. Let's send it back to the clubhouse and admin.
Boog, thank you. Alongside John Kruk, Giancarlo Stanton making his return. First time in since May 24th. He struck out 40% of his at-bats, and the strikeouts keep coming.
Yeah, it's just been a struggle for Stanton. Swinging at bad pitches, taking good pitches, and now arguing, thinking it was low.
That was with the bases loaded in the 5th. And then Wilson Ramos here in the Nationals game deep.
Tim Kirchin said on our earlier baseball tonight that he should be the all-star catcher as of right now, and he's just showing it up again.
Making Timmy look good. 6-zip right now for the Nats, Boog.
Stanton has struck out 32 times in his last 64 at-bats.
You know what? If I saw that right, he didn't have that face guard that he was wearing after he got hit by a pitch in that last at-bat where he took that called third strike. I mean, you just wonder if forget about the face guard and it being there, right, whether it's there or not. You wonder, with the problems that he's having right now, if it's a directly reflected to that hit by pitch.
But for a large chunk of the time since he's gotten hurt, you see Baez with his face guard, but Giancarlo Stanton wears the face guard helmet when he's facing a righty, but not when he's facing a lefty, is what he'll do a large chunk of the time.
Well, basically telling you there's a little bit of fear there with a right-handed pitcher on the mound.
Runner on the goal, pitch high, throw, safe. And Baez with the steal.
Dougie, there are so many things that this kid can do on a baseball field.
Yeah, Bolsinger really didn't make him stop. Baez kind of kept in motion, and so he stood up and made his move. And it was still a pretty close play. You got to give them credit considering the good jump. The throw a little bit on the shortstop side makes for a longer tag, and just gave Baez enough time to slip in the back door in the back corner.
One 0 Dodgers and a Kike Hernandez leadoff homer. David Ross a little frustrated there with Adrian Johnson.
Yeah, I think Adrian just lost his perfect game on that 2-0 pitch. Believe me, David Ross will remind him about that outside corner the rest of the night when John Lester's on the hill.
Ross in his final season as he gets set to retire. One of the leaders on this team, one of the most liked guys in that clubhouse.
And I posed a question to him yesterday. Why? Why are you shutting it down? You came into camp working out over the winter as hard as you ever had. Your desire to prepare to play is still there. You're putting up terrific numbers. You're loved by this team. You love this team. I'm saying it's 50-50 right now for David Ross.
Spoils that one.
Well, son, you're funny. Everybody who says they're absolutely retiring, you're telling them they're not retiring.
That's exactly. It's right, Dougie. He's got everybody. So Ortiz is going to have to give back all of the gifts, and David Ross next year is going to have to buy a double suite for Jason Hayward next season. Jason Hayward has a suite for him on the road the entire year.
I'm just telling you, I've talked to both of the guys as you have, and there's nothing that comes close to playing a game of baseball.
Got him looking. Ross down on strikes, 2 away.
Said I believe you're very convincing. You'd be able to turn someone's mind.
I'm telling you, Dougie, and you can relate. I love what I'm doing. I love time with my family, but I miss that opportunity to go out there and take that toe hold on the mound and, somebody scream play ball and have something to do with the outcome of a ball game. We don't determine what happens up here. That's the thing that you miss.
Sometimes people think we have an outcome, we have an effect on the outcome, and we can jinx things, stuff like that.
Well, I think sometimes I can see into a crystal ball and feel like what might happen.
Oh my gosh, do you ever?
I believe in first guessing. I'm not that guy that sits back and says he should have done this. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You just get me out of this hole. Good luck. There's 2 outs. Lester's up. Thank you so much, Johnny. We'll be back with the top of the 3rd inning.
You are the best.
When does Arrieta come up?
It's the finals, biggest rivals, shape the culture, get your sculpture, painful daggers, raise your swagger. Biggest jumpers, sacred numbers, make your game bright, get the spotlight, set the bar high, time to rewrite.
Planning for retirement? Quick. What's your most valuable asset? No, not these. It's time. Because over time, you could achieve remarkable growth. So don't waste another minute. Go to personalcapital.com now for the most sophisticated retirement calculator available. A dashboard that shows you all your accounts in one place. Income, spending, investments, net worth, all in real time. You'll also get these free tools. Join for free at personalcapital.com.
Double down on your candy and coffee cravings with Dunkin's new Heath and Almond Joy Candy Bar flavored iced coffees. America runs on Dunkin'.
Everything you're pretty good at now, you were once, well, pretty bad at. But you learned and got better. At Experian, we believe it's the same with managing your credit. You may not be good at it now, but that's okay, because credit isn't just a score. It's a skill, and you can get better. Experian. Be better at credit.
Double down on your candy and coffee cravings with Dunkin's new Heath and Almond Joy Candy Bar flavored iced coffees. America runs on Dunkin'.
Wednesday Night Baseball on ESPN, presented by Hankook Tires, brought to you by Experian. Be better at credit. Go to Experian.com today. And TakeMeFishing.org. Experience your first catch and show it using the hashtag FirstCatch. David Ross, Adrian Johnson, a little get to know you better.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, he's talking about the fact that we only got 1 hit last night. We don't have a hit yet tonight, and you take what should have been a 3-0 count away from me. And of course, Rossi has a way of putting some whipped cream or icing on top of it to get back in good standings with the home plate umpire. It'll pay off later on, I promise.
Lester back to work. Fires one right through there.
Not much of an offensive threat, that being Mike Bolsinger. 1 for his last 40 with 23 strikeouts.
Bolsinger down on strikes. Back to the clubhouse and Adnan.
All right, Boog, thank you very much. With Tim Kirchin, an update on what's happening to the Tigers, the Angels. Tim, Michael Fulmer has a no-hitter through 6.
Right. He was acquired from the Mets last year in the Yoenis Cespedes trade. He's only thrown 68 pitches through 6 innings with a no-hitter going. That's pretty impressive and pretty efficient.
6 Ks, just 1 walk so far. We'll keep you updated, Boog.
All right. So a little no-no happening out there in Anaheim.
What's Adnan doing? Is he just rotating Timmy and Crucky? Are they just going back and forth there?
They're just hanging in the clubhouse. Nice play by Lester. And he runs about halfway. And stealing a hit there from Kike Hernandez.
I mean, you know, as a pitcher, when you don't have the shift on, if that ball gets by you, it's a knock. It's going to end up in the glove of center fielder Dexter Fowler. And as much as John Lester gets credit for that assist, it almost looked like the ball caught him. Hernandez with a couple of really good at bats. Start the ball game. A decision made by first-year manager Dave Roberts to lead him off and not Chase Utley tonight.
So here's Turner now. And a little flare caught out of the air by Zobrist. Lester's gotten the last 8 in a row. Jake Arrieta goes 60 feet 6 inches with Rick Sutcliffe coming up.
In 1925, the people of Tacuba, Mexico created a beer to celebrate a revolution. Modelo Especial. Today, it's the fastest growing beer in America. Why? Because it doesn't matter where you come from. It matters what you're made of. Modelo Especial. Brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. For a taste that's pure gold.
At Carrabba's, we start with fresh ingredients, so we have tons of made-from-scratch choices. But now you don't have to choose just one. For a short time, mix and match classics and creations to build your perfect trio starting at $13.99. Carrabba's, this is how you do Italian.
Cricket knows the play that'll make you celebrate. Switch to Cricket and get the Samsung Galaxy Amp 2 for $19.99 or the Samsung Galaxy Amp Prime for $49.99. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about.
Some said Wendy's 4 for $4 was the biggest thing since.
And now for tonight's biggest news.
The 4 for $4 now comes with your choice of a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger or the new Crispy Chicken BLT. It's the biggest thing until